let's talk about magic words. Now you remember this from the training that you've already received, but I want to talk to you about how magic words can help you as a trainer, because they can be very powerful, not only in the training itself, but also in talking to groups and encouraging them to train with you. They can be very powerful marketing words. And one thing that you're going to have to focus on more and more as you go is marketing. Now eventually you're going to have to focus less and less on marketing. Once you build up a following, as it were, once you have people who train with you and they tell other people, everything's going to sort of snowball in a good way, and everything's going to get bigger and better and more powerful, and eventually word of mouth is going to carry the day. So you won't have to worry about it. However, initially you need to be vigilant in your promotions. And one of the ways that you can be vigilant in your promotions is to arrange to give talks about NLP, free talks about NLP. But in those talks you can pepper in words that are going to encourage people to study with you and encourage people to fill that room. Because when you give a lesson, when you give a class, it's always better if you have a full room. Any room that's not full is just money potential that you had that you didn't actually take advantage of. For example, think about the Priceline model, Priceline.com, which I have no affiliation with, but I've used them many times. Priceline realized that certain airplanes don't fill up with people. They have, sometimes only half of the people that can fit on the airplane are on the airplane. The other half is money just left sitting on the table. Nobody bought those tickets. So those chairs, those seats are still going to fly across the country, but they're going to fly empty. Think of that as your classroom. Your classroom's going to fly. You're going to have the class, a 3-day training, 4-day training, but every empty seat that you have is money that you just left sitting on the table, money that you could have had, money that could have been there because that seat's available. You don't have to do any extra effort to make it pay off for you once you're in the class and teaching. It doesn't take any extra effort to teach 12 people versus 8 people, for example. But you didn't fill up the seats. So that's the Priceline model. They'll fill up hotels that don't fill to capacity with less expensive tickets. They'll fill up airplanes that don't fill to capacity with less expensive tickets. I don't recommend you doing that with less expensive tickets because people will talk at lunchtime. How much did you pay? $1,200? Well, how much did you pay? Oh, I only paid $500. Really? Well, let me talk to so-and-so about that because that's not fair. So you want to avoid giving different prices for the same exact seminar because people will talk and it's really not fair. However, you want to be vigilant in your promotional efforts so that you can fill up every seat at the price that you're asking so that everyone's paying the same price but all the seats are filling up. So one of the ways to do that is by giving free talks. One of the ways to encourage the audience during a free talk is to use magic words. So magic words can be helpful in your advertising when you're giving a free talk, and magic words can also be helpful when you've already got the audience. The seats are already full, everyone's paid, and you're ready to launch a 3 or 4 day seminar or however long you decide to teach. So let's revisit magic words in this light. Let's revisit magic words as both a marketing tool and as a way to encourage your students who have already paid for your class. All right, so you recall the magic words. Here are some of them. Naturally, easily, and effortlessly are the ones at the top that I've chosen. These words allow things to just slide into the brain. Whatever follows these words is just going to slide right into the subconscious mind. So it's waking hypnosis, if you will. Some of NLP is waking hypnosis. You're programming them in a waking state to accept your commands and suggestions. So naturally, easily, and effortlessly. Naturally, you realize the positive effects of NLP, and you realize that you can easily cause change in people, and effortlessly, you can move forward in your career if you take my training. Okay, so these are just quick off-the-cuff examples of using those. But let's talk about other magic words: aware or awareness, and realize or realizing. These words cause you to focus on something. When you say aware or realize, you're causing someone to focus on something. You realize that I'm talking right now. So you suddenly become aware of that. You are aware that I'm talking right now. So suddenly you're focusing on that. You are aware that you're breathing oxygen. You realize that you are alive. So you draw someone's attention to that. They already knew these things perhaps, but now they're focusing on them. Another advantage to them is that you can draw people's attention to things that they weren't really aware of by saying that they are aware of them. You are aware that if you train with me, you are going to be very successful. Well, maybe they weren't aware of that at all. But because you said aware, the thing that you say after it, they focus on and it slides into their subconscious mind. So realize the power of these words. So here's an example of combining all of these words. Naturally, as you become aware of the power of NLP, you will realize that you can easily and effortlessly learn it. Okay, so you are, in that case, I'm talking to students who have already paid for the class. They're already part of the program. So I'm using these words, in this particular case, the example I just gave you, to put them at ease, to allow them to realize that everything's going to be okay. But realize you can use these words for marketing, and you can also use these words to help your students once they are actually in your class.